Okay, here we go. Live on screen. I got this little puppy to smoke on. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's how the professionals do it. You know, sprinkle a little weed on your watercolor before you start, and then that's what you do. Do you like my microphone? It's brand new. Okay, so I'm gonna use this brush for a wash. You can see the bristles a little dry because I don't clean my brushes like I should. But this will be good for the wash. So go ahead and load up my brush here, off screen. There. And get a little bit of this black. And by a little, I mean a lot. I'm gonna load my brush the fuck up because the thing about watercolors that is beautiful and also a little bit difficult to deal with is that you really have to layer them up, otherwise it's gonna look like this on the saturated parts. And another thing that you could do, these are the good watercolors come in tubes and you squeeze them out, but you could use it more wet and you get a more saturated color that way. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and start my painting, and I'm gonna try to be a little bit more talkative while I do it, for entertainment value. I drool a little bit, and that's fine. Thing about the big washes and using the corresponding brushes, you really gotta be careful with them. I said you really have to be careful with them. Maybe I should move this guy. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it for now. But yeah, once you see this start to dry, you'll see that it's not super saturated. It's not maybe super even. But that's okay. I'm here. I'm here for this. To put as many layers as need be. So then, get a little blending in. Actually, yeah, no. Just get water. Just get a little water on that brush. Kind of using I'm using the brush poorly. I'm going like this, which is not awesome for your bristles. So I'm gonna do a little bit of the wet on wet technique, because that gives you like a smoother kind of situation. And I'm just, I'm doing a lot of layers. I said I'm doing a lot of layers. I don't know how well this mic is gonna pick up from down here. But that's art, baby. I feel like Bob Ross would have a lot to say about nose painting. And I'm just dotting on the wet parts. And the watercolor being watercolor is gonna dispersing the water a little bit more evenly. And you can see here it's not wet. I'm actually gonna get a finer brush, and wet it a little bit more in those nooks and crannies here. You can see where and I didn't get enough water, so my brush is still pretty dry. So it is not working quite as planned. And I feel like the trick to a good watercolor obviously is patience, but it's having these like little pops of contrast where you get this smooth kind of like really bright kind of excluded spaces that you haven't let any of the color get onto. And you can see this is evening out really nicely now. Just using that dabbing technique here. Because once the water is kind of sitting on the paper, then you can do that, and it is a really good way to keep detail. Yeah, I don't know, I might move my mic like over here eventually so that I can get it like closer, you know what I mean? Anyways, so this camera is really showing now that it's starting to dry. You see, but I've built up some layers on this side, and this side it's like a lot more complicated because in the source image it's got glow, an orange glow around the fire, so you can see I'm like carefully trying to preserve that, and touching my thing is not helping. Anyways, now I'm doing the eyes because those are really kind of like a darker part of this, along with part of the nose, because those are gonna be the darkest parts of the face. And then I'm gonna go in and wet very subtly and bring in some of that background here. And you can see that's way too dark, so I'm going to take a drier brush and soak that up. And don't worry, I'm not painting, I'm just soaking. And if I had like a napkin, I'd be doing the same thing with that. Just a little bit here on the, to help define the mouth. And I go in on the other side too to give that nose definition, and also the rest of the face. And you can see that shadow that I put in initially for the eyebrow is really staying there nice. So put this in and do a wash over the hair because it's actually pretty dark. So once I go in, and I lost my reference here. Once I go in, I'm gonna go in with a lot of like red and deep orange to bring this back. But the first layer that I did was like a yellow, like a really light yellow, because I don't want anywhere to be as dark as the fire, because if you look at the reference, that's obviously like the focal point. So I'm trying to keep the fire really organic, like fire really white, and then go in at the end. I'm trying to have this like edge orange highlight effect. And when I did do the base sketch, I did it in pink because I think it'd be really kind of cool if a little bit of that came through. So now I'm gonna do the tank part. And that's got kind of a little bit of black. So I'm gonna go, where did my paintbrush go? Here it is, gross, on the floor. I'm gonna go in with a fine brush and do the other details. So I'm gonna get that thing wet, and I'm gonna get in this black, and you just get in it. And yeah. So I forgot what I was even gonna put this more saturated black on. Oh yeah, the belt. So just now this is gonna be a shadow right here, so I'm not really fucking with that too much. But I want to make sure that I'm getting these like shirt wrinkles really good and crisp. So I'm taking a happy little detour. And you can see this is actually really good watercolor paper. So here, if I can get my camera to focus, and you can even see it unfocused a little bit, it's got like a jagged situation. I don't know if I'll be able to show it here either. There we go. Uh, yeah. So, C, never mind. It's there though. You just have to believe me. Right here. And it's about to not be here. And here's a little gossip behind this piece. The person that I'm doing this piece of got drunk one time and said that I wasn't an artist, that I was stupid for going to art school, and so is everyone else who does. And to that I say, how else am I going to make rich friends? I grew up poor. In this world, you need rich friends. And you do that by going where rich friends are that are relatively cool, by and large, art school. And you know what? All those connections have gotten me relatively little. But you know what they have gotten me? Way more than any of my poor friends. Who, I'm not shitting on you for being poor. I'm saying that's a legitimate reason to go to art school, is for the connections. I mean, I can learn everything I fucking want on like Coursera or whatever. I'm not repping Coursera. There's a shit ton of those things. So whatever your poison, pick your flavor for self-betterment, but you know, the quality of the actual instruction is on par with whatever you're gonna get at art school. But like I said, that person was drunk. Okay. So the shirt's coming along pretty nice. Got some depth to it because of the shit. So I'm gonna load up with just water again. Put this back in my nose. You know I'm right nostriled. I can do it in the left nostril, but it's harder to control. I don't know if it's like my depth perception or... So... Oh, cool. I think that there was no views on this one yet, I don't think. Let's see if I can see the stream. I don't know. Okay, cool. You can see the stream. Nice. Okay, so there is no chat, And oh, there is someone watching. Hey, whoever's watching. Can't see, but whoever you are, good job. Supporting small, weird art. I got a message. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting more water on my brush. And I'm going over these parts. And get more water. And now the nice thing when you're doing like all the blacks together is you can do these nice washes of gray with just the water, because that water is turned a little bit black. So you get a darker wash. And you know, that face is turning out pretty nice. And you know, the hair is gonna start to have more depth soon. And you know, the sweet life. So this is looking a lot different, you know, than it was. I forgot a spot right here. You can see what this all looked like before I came back in with the black. So it pretty saturated, and it gets pretty unsaturated pretty quick. So you can see this section all needs to be black like this, and in order to do that, I'm going to use this bigger brush again. Because this bigger brush, it holds a lot. It holds a lot more water. And these brushes are nice and wet now because they've been in my nose, so they slide right in. That's the thing about this camera, you don't see it in the nose as much. But that's okay. You don't need to see everything. Life is more beautiful with some mystery in it, right? Okay. Nice. So this area has to be like some of the blackest black, which is kind of hard because it also has to be the smoothest transition. So I'm going to hold off on that section. and just do some more of this like outside black and kind of work my way in. That was work my way in. So turn it so it's closer to my nose, wipe that because that's not supposed to be here, bummer, and get that shit blacker. And then take some of this and try to smooth it some. Because again, once I go in, and I don't know if this is again or if I even said this. But when I go back in with that orange, it's going to smooth out a lot. And I'm going to have to change my water before I do that wash. So you can see actually the difference with quality paper. And this is really high quality paper. I'm not going to use that brush for this. This brush does not do good detail work, even though it's relatively at a point. And you know, when I do that orange, I am just gonna get this area wet as I can. And then what happens is the water pushes the watercolor to the edge and you get that cool, crisp edge that's really saturated. So I'm gonna go for that. And I don't know how successful I'll be, but that is the objective. And then once I go in here with some more orange, that'll look pretty cool. I'm gonna dab some fresh water in the middle and then work in to the less saturated area in the front here where the fire is reflecting really bright, and also there on the face where the face is really bright. So that's no good. So you can see already, super uneven, better than it was, but super, super uneven. So I'm going to go in here with that pure saturated black. And I'm going to hit this corner really quick. So that corner is going to be super uneven. I'm going to go back to this corner and make it super uneven. and maybe meet in the middle and be a little bit more even, because again, I'm gonna have to do so many more of these washes. In fact, I'm gonna go back to my wash brush. This thing holds so much water, it's even harder to get really a lot of paint. So I'm gonna try to load it up. And I'm burning through black for this piece, and that's totally fine. Because again, you know, it's hard to have watercolor with a lot of like contrast, because the saturation is so smooth naturally. It just wants to be smooth. And again, really just kind of abusing my brush. That's kind of a problem for me, is I can't spend money on good supplies because I just ruin them. I mean, I've absolutely trashed them, and I don't know why. You know, maybe it's that ADHD somehow. You know, that fucking ADHD, it's like everything. Everything goes back to it. It's like toe walking, oh yeah, ADHD, autism, all that good shit. And, I mean, on a mental health note, the things are really similar. And I don't want hard corners. I'm gonna see if dabbing maybe gets more saturation. And the nice thing about nose painting is, you know, as much as your depth perception gets really fucked up, it's pretty stable. It hurts. It does hurt. It doesn't feel good. You know, it's like I'm not like dealing with like a broken leg or anything here. I mean, it's not like a 10 pain. But it doesn't tickle. I'll tell you that fucking much. It is not fun. But it's weird as fuck. And the world needs weird stuff in it. Yeah, this microphone won't go down anymore without fucking up the camera, so I'll probably have to move that puppy. Okay, so now it's hard to say whether it looks better just because it's like so hard to get that. I mean, you can't tell when it's wet at all. So I'm going to put less water on my brush to try to get more pigment on the brush. And do a smaller area at a time. Okay, pretty small area there. So, see if that helps. I told my boss I was gonna do one of him and his wife, but I never did it because they acted all grossed out, which is fair. That's like a really valid response, but it doesn't really inspire creativity when people are like grossed out by something like really special you're doing for them, actually. So I never did it, but maybe I will since I'm doing so much nose painting. I might as well. So actually, now that this is drying some, you can see it's actually not so bad. It's not so uneven. So I'm gonna go back over there and give this section. I'm gonna go back over there and give this section some time to dry. Get the shit off of it. Okay. And then over here again. Because these edges, I'd like the edges to be like the darkest part. So. And this has taken like a half hour, so I have to speed up my drawings like 93%. And I don't have to speed them up 93%. I just feel like nobody wants to watch this shit in slow motion. Well, one person does. Thank you, viewer, mystery viewer. I think the chat only shows up on my live streaming OBS when there's someone chatting. I need to go into that section pretty soon. It sucks because my stick is getting lost, so I'm really gonna have to push the dark right there. Which is kind of close to the fire, but it's also like the darker point. So I might actually be done here in a second for this round because it's gotten pretty saturated where I wanted it to be saturated, and I gotta go eat some bacon. Okay, so I think I need to do like touch the brush like one time to the paper where I'm gonna do it because every time it gets uneven. So this section too. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you have watched, it's a lot to watch. You know, enjoy my glowing personality and hopefully high quality audio. The video is like high medium, I think. So, and it was really shitty. So we're making improvements. Pretty soon